12 young people die every week in the UK from an undiagnosed cardiac condition. 80% of them had no prior symptoms. We thought with over 12,000 players in Cumberland, over 7,500 of those, so about 65% of them being youth players, and with grassroots football having no access to a recognised ECG screening programme, that basically we had a duty of care. Our job as the County Football Association is to be the guardians of the game whilst we're in charge of it. And ultimately we just felt, look, this felt right. It's in the best interests of the game. It's in the best interests of people. We need to look at this a little bit further. And therefore, we made contact with FA. We've had numerous discussions with her. And we've agreed to sign up, and we're looking to go forward with it.
This screening project's all been made possible by a new technology innovation which we've brought into the UK from the US. The device is a 12-lead ECG machine, replaces the need for a complex process and lead placements, which prior to this machine could only be done by those medically trained. This device basically utilises a pre-positioned electrode patch. The electrodes are placed for you, which means anybody can apply it. Then a small recording box is attached onto the patch, and that connects via Bluetooth to a mobile device where there's an app to initiate a 10-second ECG test with equivalence to the test you would have in a hospital setting. It's a brilliant piece of technology that's just making screening far more accessible to those not affiliated to a medical professional. So each individual that has the test gets a written report from a consultant cardiologist, and they get the result returned to them a week later via email. So it's a complete process so that we can just get more and more young people screened.
When you're overseeing as many people playing the game that they love, and you look at those figures, it's a fairly straightforward decision that we need to safeguard our players. Prevention is better than cure, and yes, at the other end of the skills, we are asking coaches and people to be trained for emergency first aid, and the FA have got their own short cardiac training. But ultimately, we also need to front load this. The professional football clubs and players going through those programs will all be screened. This machine being available and making it affordable. But also, we want to use some funding that we've set aside through the Fred Conway Fund, which was an honorary fund set up in memory of our late chairman, who actually passed away of an undiagnosed heart condition himself. We've been taking a percentage of discipline money for people who have yellow and red cards, and the idea is that this will then go forward to supplement the cost and the low cost of screening.
We see the defibs have come in to a lot of community settings and sports organisations, which is fantastic. But this is a step before that. This is the prevention. Screening is so important to pick up those conditions before a defib might be needed. And actually, 1 in around 300 young people tested with this test have a potentially life-threatening condition picked up. So it's important that that's found and they can take this report straight to their GP for further testing.
It's not often in life that you can say you're going to be involved with something which could literally be life-saving, but this is an initiative where literally we will be saving lives, and hopefully making sure that people can play the game that they love for longer and in a safe way.
Yeah, we see like the tip of the iceberg cases in the media, high profile players that have these sudden cardiac arrests. It's so much more common than people realise. And I played football for York City Ladies, have done for 5 or 6 seasons now. And during a game in 2024, my teammate collapsed on the pitch, and it was just a very harrowing moment for the team, and I don't think any of us will ever forget that feeling. And she had an undiagnosed condition that she had no prior symptoms for, so she's in the category of 80% of people that have asymptomatic conditions underlying. And unfortunately, in some cases, when they present, it's the collapse that causes the death. And luckily in her case, she was taken straight to hospital and she recovered well. She's on medication for life now. She's back playing football, which is fantastic. But, that collapse could have led to a cardiac arrest, and it also could have been prevented from an ECG test. So it really created this passion for me and drive to get as many young people tested as possible. I just wanted to keep pushing that and get it nationwide.
Because this isn't just about what happens on and around the football field. You know, we are grassroots football, so this is around people who give up their time and who play this game but have families and have loved ones. And ultimately, we've heard loads of stories of families who have lost people through sudden undiagnosed cardiac conditions. Yeah, we want to protect the players. This is so much bigger than just football. You know, if we can diagnose through this a cardiac condition that then allows somebody to, you know, progress within their lives, to fulfill their potential, to become that parent, to remain that loved one. You know, look, let's be honest, you can't put a price on those sorts of things. So it just feels like the right thing to do. And that's what was led by everybody on our board and who made the decisions. Everybody just said, we've got to find a way to make this work.
And it's become something we're now not just pushing in sport. One of the stats actually in sport is that if you play a sport, you're up to 4 times more likely to die of sudden cardiac death than those normally active. However, it doesn't mean those normally active are safe. And so I'm pushing this not just in sport now, but universities, students, all organisations that have young people most at risk, which is aged between 14 and 35.
The idea behind it is that we will loan and support clubs so they can access this machine and so that they can run their own screening programs within their clubs at training, match days, club events, and they can be carried out with very little medical training. And we're about to test that because we're going to run some training thanks to Faye in the next couple of days. The only other message I would probably have is that if, you know, clubs aren't involved at this stage but are interested, then please get in touch with us at info@cumberlandfa.com. And if you're not from Cumberland and you're a club or an organisation who's interested, then please get in touch with Fane Cardiologic, because it is a great initiative. This is about starting the conversation about trying to get more young people and young adults and anybody playing the game. You know, we've got walking footballers, got referees who we plan to screen as well. All of those people we want to try and get through. So if you're an organisation, get in touch and you know, and let's get as much screening out there as we possibly can.